Hey everybody, this is part of our full-length primetime podcast. You can check it out on BlogTalkRadio, iTunes, YouTube, plenty more. I hope you enjoy.
This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Primetime Podcast here on Most Valuable Podcast. Ricky Widmer here, along with the one, the only, Brandon Swanson.
Hey.
And we are back. And Brandon, you have a good holiday break, a good Christmas weekend?
Oh, Ricky, it's been really nice. Very relaxing. Plenty of good stuff that I got from mom and dad and family and friends, and lots of chocolate and plenty to just get fat, you know, in all honesty, plenty to just get fat. That's basically, that's how it went, but it's all delicious.
Well, and that's usually what the holidays is, right? Just good times with good family and getting fat off of good food and good chocolate. But I hope you guys enjoyed your holiday weekend and your Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. And we've got a jam-packed show. We're going to be talking some Grayson Allen. We're going to be looking at the semifinal games in the college football playoff. And you might be thinking to yourself, guys, you sound a little different. That is because Brandon is at home. But we thought that, hey, you know what? We are still going to bring you the Primetime Podcast as originated with myself and Brandon. But we're going to get into it, Brandon, and start with this Grayson Allen story, because this was one where Dave and Sean of the Fast Break, Dave actually texted us in our Fast Break message and was like, we got to talk about this Grayson Allen thing. And I was like, you know what? Let me ask Brandon, see if he wants to talk about it, because I know that this was a story that you might have wanted to get in on. And Brandon texted me back and said, it's ours. We're taking it. So if you are joining us from the Fast Break podcast coming over, here it is. And Brandon, the thing I just got to start and ask you with on this one is, after it happened and Grayson Allen tripped now his third player since the beginning of last season, what was your immediate thought after hearing he had done it again?
Disappointment, in all honesty. Complete disappointment from a really, really good player on a really, really good team. And I think that's the first thing that I think probably went through most people's minds, because this is something that, again, like you had mentioned, he had done this 2 times last season, and he had come out and he apologized. He said, I'm sorry. He said, that's not me. That's not my game. That's not my style. And then to do this again, it's just a poor lapse in judgment of something that doesn't need to happen. I mean, he didn't, in any situation, he didn't need to do it. And in all situations, he couldn't even hide it. He wasn't even good at hiding it. It was blatantly there. I just think this last one, I mean, it certainly set him over the edge. His little rant, I mean, some people call it a tantrum. I say he was just emotional. I wouldn't say it was a tantrum. He was upset. But, you know, that was spread all over social media, and I think he is not making a good name for himself right now, and I don't think that that's what Duke basketball wants for him. I don't think that that's what head coach Mike Krzyzewski wants for him. That's certainly not what Grayson Allen wants for himself. So I think that he has a little growing up to do in this sense and in this part of his game. He's a really good player. I think that he is the best player on Duke's team, but he does not have the sound mentality of a star player, especially when you look forward to the NBA. So disappointment, Ricky, was the first thing that came to mind with me when I heard about this and when I saw this.
Well, and for me, the first time I heard about it was actually the first time I had saw it, as well as I believe I was watching, I think it was the SVP Sports Center, where they had it on repeat that entire night, and I'm watching it going, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me that this would happen yet again to this same player? And this one was, I mean, we talked about the first 2 that happened last year, and you could see that they were obviously deliberate. You see this one where it's basically he just gets beat by his guy, And then as the Elon player Santa Ana is coming around him, he just throws up his leg, and this one wasn't really a trip to me. This looked like almost I'm going to put my leg up and kind of softly kick the back of your knee in order to really get you to fall. And my first thought was I was angry at the entire Duke organization, or the Duke basketball program, more closely Coach K, the night it happened, because it happens. We see the trip. We see the temper tantrum where John Schleier, great Duke player, Illinois alum, assistant coach, was trying to kind of just kind of get him to hush down. And after the game, Coach K was like, hey, you know what? It was basically, he did what he was supposed to do. He apologized for it, and we're going to move on. And the night of, I was sitting there, and I agreed with Scott Van Pelt. They brought on all the other basketball analysis. Jay Billis talked about it, and I agreed with them. That was unacceptable. Just to say, well, you know what? He apologized for it. That's good enough. I was furious. But then I will be honest, the next morning I listened to Dan Patrick, and he had Coach K on, and that anger kind of went away, because in my mind, Coach K made the right decision. He said, hey, you know what? I watched the tape of it all after it happened, after I went home last night. He's like, I was dealing with the refs. I didn't even see the temper tantrum he had. We can't have that. He's suspended indefinitely. So this, to me, the suspension by Duke is a good thing, not just for, you know what, Grayson Allen, he tripped a guy. This is the third time, get him off the court. I kind of agree with some of the analysts on ESPN on their college basketball game day, where maybe you need to suspend him to get him away from the basketball court to get him help, because maybe, just maybe, Grayson Allen might have some anger issues that he needs to deal with.
Well, he definitely could. And Ricky, I think that I agree with you in what you're saying with Coach K. I think that Coach K, he did not know that Grayson Allen had his little blow up on the bench. He said if he would have seen that, he would have never let him go back in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that seeing him play in the second half, he looked like a complete ghost. He didn't look like himself out there. He really wasn't. He really wasn't helpful. Basically, is what he's saying is he was worthless out there on the floor in the second half. He should have never let him go out there. He did not start him, but he did let him play in the second half. And I think that what Coach K is doing by suspending him is protecting him from himself. And I think that is the biggest thing right now for Grayson Allen, is he has got to figure it out with what is going on, because this is something that has continued, that has festered, that people have seen it on the national stage, and it has been blown up. The first one, okay, that's not good, but, we can get past it. We can move on. The second one, people were absolutely up in arms, could not believe it. They didn't do anything. No suspension. The third one, that's bad. If you have not learned your lesson by the third one, that is bad. And what Grayson Allen is doing is, it's like he's trying to play street ball in some of these situations. Like anything goes. There's no refs. Call your own foul. And that's not working out well for him. I think that he really needs to find his mental game. That's the problem right now for him, is that he just doesn't have it mentally. And that is going to hurt him. It's going to hurt the team. I think that right now, Coach K said that he doesn't know if it's going to be a suspension for 1 day, 2 weeks. He goes, I haven't decided yet. I don't know what's best for him. And I certainly don't think it's going to be a 1-game suspension. I think that we're looking at multiple games here. And
the thing I kind of think about is, when you were saying it's kind of like he's playing street ball, I'm going to go with a different analogy. I'm going to go, he looks like the kid that is playing basketball with his buddies in the backyard, and things aren't going your way, and your shot's not falling, and the guy who you're defending is going right past you. So what do? You get angry and frustrated, and then you try to do something like trip the guy or blatantly foul them because you're playing street ball and there's no refs, and you can kind of do that. That's what it's like to me. Put that kid in any situation. He got frustrated, and he let his frustration take over him, basically. But, yeah, it a little bit like street ball, too. Like I said, he was kicking. It looked like he was kicking the back of the Elon Santa Ana, his back of his kneecap, but I agree with you, Brandon. It has to be a suspension that kind of takes a few games, takes a few days to sit in. And there's an article on ESPN that I'm going to link down below. I advise everyone read it because I love Jay Williams. I think he's a great guy. He went to Duke. He wrote an article for, like, basically what's his advice to Grayson Allen. And one of the things he mentions in this article is, now that you got time to sit and think, you can literally just sit there and think about everything and think what you need to do to learn from this mistake. And that's the most important thing. And the thing I was thinking about with Grayson Allen is his kind of path to stardom. Of course, everyone's is different, but his is, I would say, a little bit unique because his freshman year, nobody knows about him basically until the last game of the season when he had that tremendous game against, I want to say it was Wisconsin in the championship game. Then his sophomore year, which was last year, kind of becomes the face of that team. And we already kind of see, like, okay, there's 2 tripping incidences to where at the end of that year, he was going to be a late first-round pick in the NBA draft, but decided to come back for his junior season. Now, in his junior season, almost halfway done with it, we kind of see more and more, you could call them character issues, you can call them character flaws, you can call it just his maturity. A lot of things are kind of sorting to unravel, basically, that we didn't know because he wasn't that first number 1 recruit coming into Duke to be the starter. He was basically a bench guy that nobody knew about his freshman year, but one big game kind of catapulted him into the kind of stardom, especially at Duke.
Absolutely, and I think that people are certainly seeing him now, but I mean, you look at a year ago, he was averaging 21 points a game. This year, it's down to 16 points a game. He's been dealing with a foot problem. Now he's going to be dealing with this issue. Things are not looking great for Grayson Allen this season. And the season, I feel, Ricky, has just begun because they haven't even really gotten into ACC play yet. But I think that it's time for him to really turn it around in his game. And it's time for him to turn it around in his actions because I don't believe that this is how Grayson Allen is. I think that he will be able to turn it around, but if he does not, I think that that's going to be, I won't say take a blow, but I'll say that it'll put a hit on where he's going to be come draft time for the NBA.
And I want to ask you about that, but before I get into that question, I just want to bring up one thing. The ACC slate for Duke starts this Saturday. Of course, I'm sorry, Duke fans, I will not be watching your game against my Virginia Tech Hokies because I will be getting ready for the college football playoff games basically going on that day, especially the semifinal games going on. So they start Saturday, and they have basically, to me, 3 cupcake games. Well, Virginia Tech might not be the cupcakiest of games, but basically Boston College, Georgia Tech, and Virginia Tech are the 3 games that they play in the opposite order of which I said them. The thing that will be most interesting to see if Grayson Allen returns by that January 10th game against and on the road in Tallahassee against number 20th Florida State, because they got Florida State on the 10th and then Louisville on the road at the 14th. It will be interesting to see how that suspension plays out into those games. But I will ask you now, Brandon, the whole title of this segment, if you're watching it on YouTube, is this suspension with Grayson Allen. how does it hurt his draft stock?
Ricky, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's going to hurt it all that much. And the reason why I say that is because he's done a couple of things that are questionable, certainly, but he's a good player, and he has a lot of talent. And no matter what people want to say, he is the star of that Duke Blue Devil team. But take a look at the NBA. You can't tell me that those types of things don't live in the NBA. I mean, Draymond Green got suspended last season, one, because I don't think they wanted the Warriors to win, but two, because I think that, take a look, I mean, he had too many incidents, kicking guys in the nether region, and, he had some issues of his own, but Draymond Green is an extremely talented player. The Warriors are very happy and lucky to have him. I mean, he was a big part of their run last season. So I don't think that really there's going to be a whole lot of general managers out there that say, I don't really want him. They're going to take that talent. They're going to take the talent over what's maybe morphing into a character issue, but possibly not. I mean, there are incidences, 3 of them, that have 2 last year and 1 this season. But I think that if he can clean that up, people can't forget about it. This isn't like Joe Mixon. This is not Joe Mixon. This is not Joe Mixon in any sense of that situation, not even close. This is not good, but this is not terrible. It's not the end of the world for Grayson Allen. I think he can save it, especially if he comes out. If he can shake the foot injury, that's the biggest thing for me. Can he shake the foot injury? If he cannot, I think that's the thing that's going to hurt his draft stock the most. He needs to be healthy. He needs to get healthy. He needs to get mentally sound. He needs to start putting up points close to his average of last season at 21, again this season at 16. So I don't think that this is going to hurt his draft stock a whole lot. I really don't see it, Ricky. I think that he's going to end up, I don't want to say coming out smelling like a rose, but I think he's going to end up being just fine and have himself a nice NBA career.
I'm going to be on the other side. I'm going to say it is going to hurt his draft stock, but it's going to be...
You always say that. You always want to say... You want to always play GM and say, did he just look at somebody wrong? He is dropping 3 spots already. Well,
and the reason why I say that, yes, I think it will hurt his draft stock is because last year, if I looked at I went through the mock drafts real quickly right now that our own Sean Anderson had, and up until the 2.0 one was the one where it last had Allen. Everyone after that, he decided he was coming back to college, but in his 2.0 mock draft, the last one that saw Grayson Allen, he was going 25th overall to the Los Angeles Clippers. And the one thing that you look at is that was off of the average that you were talking about, that 21 and there around points per game. So if he's, let's say for the sake of argument, he gets back to that kind of average, could he go 25? Of course he could, but I just see him fall a little bit, and here's the reason why. Most of those teams that you're going to get from 25 to 30 in the first round are going to be your better teams. Out of the 5 last year, or the 6, I should say, because you count the 25th pick, 4 of them were high playoff teams. The Warriors, the Spurs, the Raptors, and the Clippers. It would have been Cleveland and OKC, but they had traded those picks to the 76ers and the Suns. So what I'm thinking is the teams that are, if we think of the same place that he was last year, 25 to 30, and we think of the teams that'll probably be there, better teams who already have a playoff pedigree and some who have probably won a championship because the last overall pick is usually the champion. I think Grayson Allen at this point is a second-round pick, maybe early second-round pick at the best. And the reason why is the character issue of this suspension. And, of course, it all comes down to what he's learned from it, what kind of a player he is after he comes back from the suspension. Can he, A, show that he's learned from his mistakes and never do it again? And 2, can he do what Brandon said, get his average back up to that 21 and be the player that he was last year? Those are 2 things that he needs to do to get back up to it. But I kind of think of, I was reading more of Coach Calipari's book as I was driving to my cousin's house for Christmas yesterday, and there's a chapter where he talks about red flags, and he goes, in recruiting for him, if there's a kid that has a red flag, like for him, disrespect. If he doesn't respect his mom, doesn't respect his dad, he'll just write him off the list. You know what? I can't work with that. And the reason why is Coach Cal says you got to understand that you can change behavior, but those instilled values like respect, he's like, I don't got time for that, basically. I only got a year with these kids at most sometimes. I ain't got time to bring that into my team, maybe corrupt my team while I think I can save this kid. So if I'm going to relate that to Grayson Allen, there are going to be teams in that late 25 to 30 that are going to say, you know what, I don't need to save this kid because I've got a team that can get to the playoffs and I'm trying to build a champion. But there could be a team. There could be a team, maybe like the Brooklyn Nets or like the Phoenix Suns, that are that kind of lower team that's like, you know what, this kid's got talent. We can save him. His character issues don't mean that much. So that's the only thing that could make him a first-round pick in my eyes right now, is if there's a team like Phoenix was last year at 28, and they're like, you know what, let's take a flyer on him. Otherwise, I think at this point he's a second-round pick, and it goes both ways. It's because of the suspension and because of Brandon, like you said, his average just in his play just isn't at the same level that it was last year. But before we move on, is there any kind of last thoughts that you have with the Grayson Allen thing? Maybe even a rebuttal to the big kind of explanation that I just labeled out.
Well, Ricky, one, I have to say, John Calipari had a really nice interview on the Fox News channel with Bill O'Reilly. I don't know if you were able to catch that or not. He did an excellent job. I thought he was great. I know you would have loved it right when I saw that he was on. I thought of you because I know you would have really enjoyed it, but he was outstanding as he always is. And number two, I disagree. I think that if there's going to be any drop in Grayson Allen's draft stock, I think it's going to be if he's not healthy. I think that, again, like I said, dealing with some foot injuries this season, if he can't shake that by season's end, no team wants a player, or, you know, that's possibly a quote unquote damaged good because they can't stay healthy or because they're injured. I think that if he can shake that, if he can get back to where he was last season in terms of production, he's going to be fine. I'm telling you, if he can come back and he can have a clean record the rest of the season, it's going to go away. It's going to go away. It's not like he beat up a woman. It's not like he robbed a store. It's not like he stole crab legs. It's not like he got up in front of a student union and started yelling vile things. It's not something like that. Not even close. Not even close. And look at how we talked about those people. Mm-hmm. And look at how we talked about their possible draft stock coming down. It didn't happen in one case, and it may not in another. So this is just tripping. This is just tripping. And I say just tripping, and I use it a little loosely because it's still wrong. It's still wrong. It doesn't show good sportsmanship, which is what is something that is definitely held high in college athletics, certainly. But I still think if he can get back to the production where he was last season, and if he can stay healthy the rest of the year, Grayson Allen's going to have a good spot in the NBA draft.
Well, and that's why I want to reiterate, when I'm saying he's falling, I mean that's right now. Whatever happens when he comes back, this is exactly like you said. It's different than especially the Joe Mixon case where, I mean, yeah, it's not good to show the emotion that you had. I hope that Grayson Allen gets help if he needs it while he's out and not on the basketball court. But this is not a death sentence for Grayson Allen and his draft stock. But this is where you guys come in. Of course, we've given our thoughts, but this is always a conversation with you guys, whether you have downloaded the podcast off of Blog Talk Radio or are listening on YouTube, let us know either on Twitter or in the comment section what you guys think of what we just talked about with Grayson Allen.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed a lot of emotion. If you want more, click this video right over my left shoulder. You will certainly not regret it.